So now let's loot everybody blind because that's what we do around here. Also, we have level up. How we doing on the... So you kind of like Hawke, you kind of don't. Okay, that's great. Bethany almost max friendship. Abilities. Where do you want to go from here, girl? Let's do... that? Hold on. Oh, we can specialize. Oh no, what do I want to specialize in? So that's the rush in, which is kind of fun. Do we have... That's the shadow class. I tend to not put too much into that. Stealth. Evade is nice because you like literally do the leap back. That I think actually did make it into DAI. Duelist. Duelist defense. Okay. Evasive maneuver. Then there's... What was this one? Scoundrel. Engaging... Okay. All enemies in a single party. Rogue stealths the moves to a targeted ally side, appearing an instant later, ready to render aid. I kind of like that one. I kind of do like that. That's technically already unlocked. Then there's also the assassin line. Mark of Death, which is... And Bloodlust, like, these ones are actually good to have. So I think we'll go into assassin. I think I'm gonna go here. I do think I want to try putting some more points into that this run. Let's do Constitution, this, and... no, I wanted Cunning. Thank you. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Anything else? Oh yeah, there's raiders down there. Okay. Now, we'll go to the Blooming Rose. Have a little chat. See how everybody's doing there. Get some information on Nanette. I actually really like it though, how this game, if after you play it like once or twice, you can start to like min-max stuff a bit. Like, what's a good example of it in the quest log? Oh, like Unbidden Rescue is on the Wounded Coast. Same spot as like Aveline stuff. So normally I do try to wait and then I'll just bring Aveline with me, but we're already there. And there's already other stuff to do, so that way you can kind of like just get it all done at once. So I like it that like...
I would be caught dead in the Rose.
Oh?
What?
I don't believe you.
Market's closed.
Don't believe you, Carver, at all. I think you frequent the Blooming Rose and you just don't want me to know it. But listen, I'm your big sister. I know everything, Carver. Carver Hawke thinks he can get away with stuff, but he can't.
And here we are in the brothel. My day is complete.
Is it though?
He didn't really ask you to wear a feather boa.
All Asians, darling. You get used to it.
He asked you to wear a feather boa? Sincerely. What?
I've got your usual ready and waiting for you upstairs, Sarah.
Many thanks, Madame Lucine. I won't mention this to your mother if you don't.
Oh no, I'm mentioning this to my mother. I'm here on work. I'm not embarrassed by being here. I'm working.
I don't care how much that man pays. I am not rubbing Hubert's feet again until he bathes. Disgusting.
Wait, he won't bathe and he wants you to rub his feet? What? The ambient dialogue in DA2 is literally second to none. It is fantastic. I hope that ambient dialogue is something that just never dies for Bioware because it's so good. It's so much fun. This place though, this place had some of my favorite. And then anything in here? No. Okay. Oh, somebody's getting sacked. Oh, okay. What? Oh no. Anything in here? I am like literally here to rob everybody blind. You're welcome. I know where the guy that we need is. Oh. Oh, there's a private business meeting. Literally also, like, that's so cool. I haven't like walked through this area in so long that I forgot like how well they kind of filled out.
You've been an apostate your whole life then?
We're asking this in a
Like my
brothel?
father before me. What of it?
Didn't your family consider that dangerous?
There are mages who go their whole lives without ever falling prey to a demon. Many of them, in fact.
And if the Templars came looking for you, that would not be danger enough.
Perhaps there shouldn't be any Templars.
I like it that they can talk about this, like, sincerely. I think that's a good thing for them both. Can I talk to you?
Today's my rest day, but I'll make an exception for you.
Thank you.
What can I say? Why work if you're not working hard?
I can see why Nanette liked you. You're feisty.
A refreshing change from the pale slug I married. I hear she finally left her worthless husband. Good for her. I just wish she'd said goodbye.
So you think she left him?
Did she tell you she left her husband?
No, I just hope that's what she did. Ghislaine only wants her for her family's wealth. Ninette's a jewel. Elegant, worldly, just the perfect level of depraved. Ghislaine doesn't deserve her.
I like it how he just described her as the perfect level of depraved. Like, that's actually a very interesting descriptor, but also a really good one. Could she be in trouble?
Do you think Nanette has come to harm?
I hope not. Everyone loves Ninette. Sometimes twice a night.
Oh my goodness.
Ghislaine's the only one who might hurt her, and he doesn't have the balls for it.
Has Ghislaine spoken to you?
Ghislaine knew about you and Nanette. Did he talk to you?
The man is incapable of talking. He came here, yelled at me, called me a dirty knife ear, among other things, and accused me of corrupting his wife. We had him thrown out.
Good. I definitely think that she came pre-corrupted kind of thing. You seem fond of her.
Were you hoping Nanette would leave Ghislaine for you?
Of course not. I know my place. I offer a service, that's all. Anyway, there was someone else looking for Nanette. A Templar. I believe his name was Emmerich. He wouldn't sleep with me either. I can't see why a Templar would be interested in anyone who isn't a mage.
That is interesting. You're sure she was wasn't a mage?
Any chance Ninette's an apostate?
Well, she certainly cast a spell on me. Anyway, if Nanette was a mage, I think Emmerich would have said so.
Where was Emmerich Nanette's lover too?
Someone else Nanette spent special alone time with, perhaps?
She always liked men in uniform. You could ask him yourself. Emmerich said he'd continue his investigation in Darktown. You could see if he's still there. And if you find Nanette, tell her to drop by and see me sometime.
I will. Wait, I have another thing to talk to him about?
Back again? Sure you're not interested in my many, many services?
I'm sure.
I was just passing through.
Have it your way.
So is that what that... Okay, so that just stays permanently because, like, his services are available. I think you can actually, like... There's no, like, actual sleeping with him scene or anything, but I think you can, like, go through with it, and then I think, like, there's commentary and stuff. But now we know.
Kirkwall nights aren't safe.
I know.
Always some group of thugs around. Someone will usually pay for their removal, though.
We could remove them. We could definitely do that. Is there anything else? So what do we have here? What about during the day? So we've got the gallows. Oh my goodness, there's so much here right now. Now, if we started Wayward Son and we started going down that path, then we could... But, I mean, like, let's just roll the Darktown now as is. Because, like, you could do that, but you don't need to worry about it quite as much. Let's see what's here. I have a talk to Anders quest? Oh, no. Anders, what do you want to talk about? That's kind of sort of terrifying. Hey,
Freedom.
I found your clothes.
I know I'm going to regret this, but why are you standing out here in your small clothes?
I'm afraid I do not wish to discuss fashion.
No, I know you don't want to discuss fashion, and that's fine. I respect that. But the good news is you don't have to stand out in your small clothes anymore. Okay. Now. Anders, you want to have a discussion?
I had a friend like you once.
Oh?
Got in all kinds of trouble. Dragged me along. Didn't think I'd be doing that again. I got a bit weighty the last time we talked. Sorry for putting that on you.
No, it's alright. It happens a lot. Oddly enough.
You'd be surprised how people just tell me their darkest secrets. I must look trustworthy.
You look... something.
What?
True. Proud. Like even if you don't agree with me, you'll be honest.
Oh, I will.
I hope I didn't seem too selfish when I told you about justice. I didn't know what would happen. I figured a willing host, a friend. It had to be better than playing the demon and haunting some corpse.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if it makes it any better, though.
Still creepy.
Fine. What would you do? How would you try to stand against the Templars? If you're born with magic, they hear about it. They search your little rat-spit village and find you. They tell your parents they'll be thrown in prison if they ever ask about you, stripped of their rights in the eyes of the Maker. And if you run away, they hunt you down. Again and again and again.
I think the hardest part for me about this particular Anders conversation is that it doesn't take into account that you've been protecting your sister this whole time as a mage. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, he's talking to you as if you don't know what mages go through at all, and that you couldn't possibly understand like what the threat is and everything. And it's like, you've been protecting Bethany her whole life, that so she doesn't get taken away. So yeah, you get it. You get how scary it is. You get how impossible of a mission it is to try to protect somebody. And I wish that got taken a little bit more into account, you know, just because like it makes Anders a little bit harder to relate to right now. You're getting angry though.
You're starting to glow again.
And since yours is the only head here and I don't want to rip it off, I should stop. Yes. Sorry.
Don't be.
Besides, we have so much to do before the deep roads. Next time, I'll try to keep to more pleasant topics.
Ooh. Oh. Rivalry. Huh. This is definitely, like, I'm definitely trying to gear this towards my Hawke's personality as a, like, some of the answers. Others, like I mentioned earlier, I'm definitely, like, gaming the system on, like Fenris. So, some stuff she's gonna be 100% in character for. Other stuff, we're gaming the system. This particular conversation was a in-character one. And I'm actually really happy that that I got to see the other side of it, because I think that that's really cool, actually. Because I think normally I try to play like the Peacekeeper on it, but not this time. Nope. All right, so now, do we do Birthright? Do I pick up, like, who do I want to take? I don't know. Let's do this. And then let's just get it done. And then we can yell at Gamlin later together after, because yelling at Gamlin is a new hobby of mine. It's not really new, but it is a hobby.
Sellers go this far. Maybe we were important.
I mean, I think the family was heckin' very important. Do you like how I just learned that there's a hotkey apparently for that? What happens if I use this key? Nothing. Okay. My mouse toggles side to side, like the middle mouse button toggle side to side as well. And I didn't realize that this was this. Huh. Who would have known? Okay, good to know for the future. Let's go and visit our estate cellar. So, if you know where the Hawke estate is, then I guess it's actually a really good indicator of where we are above versus below, which then is kind of interesting where Anders' clinic is, because we're pretty much in like the center of town ish, and then the like where Aveline is and stuff like that is like right basically next door. So Anders is kind of like literally right under their noses. I think it'd be cooler if he was literally right under like the chantry or something, but it's still interesting like where he's located in that regard. Okay. Let's go in. Let's loot everything. Wait. You? Do we want the dragon? Ivu. I still need to change your name to Ivu. And I will at some point, I promise. Okay. Time to die. Oh, God. Where did you go? Like, seriously, how did you get...
That's how we did it back in Ferelden.
Did you say that's how we did it back in Ferelden? What? What part of Ferelden were you from? I was in an entirely different part, it seems. Hello, anybody here? No, okay. I'll take you. And you. Anything in here? No. Anything... The History of Kirkwall, Chapter 1. Not... Really? Does Brother Genetivi... Does he... Like, I have so much time on his hands. Oh my gosh, that is... Actually, I was recording it for Ivy recently, and, for DAI, Dorian mentions, like, I think I saw something by Brother Genetivi here. And I just literally, like, me as in Plex just wanted to be like, what hasn't he written? The entirety of the history of Thedas is pretty much from the perspective of Brother Genetivi. Which I think is hilarious. Okay. In case anybody wants to know my feelings on Brother Genetivi. It's hilarious. And the fact that we deal with him in DAO is all the better. Now, the next Dragon Age game, though, alas. The next Dragon Age game, though, because it is in Tevinter, we've now had confirmation. Like official confirmation. How Brother Genetivi gonna write everybody's history? Like, sincerely, how are we gonna get Brother Genetivi? How will I know if the books I'm reading are lore accurate if Brother Genetivi didn't write them? Oh. Documents! Portrait of Mama!
I'm here. Right behind you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. This. It's truly sad what happened to the Amels, isn't it? I still remember grandmother talking about the balls that Lord Aristide used to hold at their estate and the Antivan violin players and dancers from Avasan. No expense was spared and no one would dare miss it, lest someone think they weren't worthy of an invitation. And then poor Revka had the child, magical talent, running in one of the Kirkwall's most prominent families. The Templars had considered the Lord to be Viscount after Threnhold's arrest. Can you imagine the scandal had he been chosen? They whisked the child away to the circle, and the Amel simply had no luck after that. Leandra ran off with a Ferelden mage, and then Damon was accused of smuggling. Poor Lord Faustin almost bankrupted his family trying to get the charges dropped. But I hear Viscount Marlowe simply wanted the Amels out of the picture, and it worked too, didn't it? By the time Lord Faustin got sick, there was only young Gamlin left and a mountain of debt. I spoke to Dulce just the other day, and apparently Gamlin is now living in some low-town shack. Sounds like the sort of character you'd cross the street to avoid. And let's not even talk about the estate. Mother says we should remember the Amels because that sort of thing could happen to any of us. You know the old saying, a marcher's fortune rises and falls with the tide. If you ask me, this is just another misfortune that magic brings to honest folk. Andraste helped that poor family, whatever lies in store for them. So, I forgot about this, but interestingly enough, if you're curious, and you have to be because I'm going to force you to listen to this anyways because I can. So the child that they're talking about that was born with magic and got whisked away is your human character. If you start as a human mage in DAO, that's you. Which I think is very cool. So that's another tie-in. Like, I love the connections that you find between DAO and DA2, and how, like, you start to see how the world, like, I guess it does a good job of showing that while this world and, like, the world in general is huge and there are so many people, there are still always these weird tiny threads connecting, like, the randomest things, and they do a good job of that between these two games. So, the Amel that you might start as in DAO, if you're a human mage, is this Amel. And so you're technically related to Hawke, which is very cool.
Crest. Mother described it, but this is the first time I've seen it. Wouldn't it feel like something to live in a house with this above the door?
Right?
Put that above your door and you better have the ties to back it up. Otherwise you just look old.
We'll have both. Well, not looking old, but we'll have the ties to back it up, all right? We better. This. Oh, wait. Hawke. Oh my gosh, that was like an explosion of color. This. Hawke, where are you going, girl?
This one will fetch a handsome price.
I would not fetch a handsome price. I would well, actually, Hawke would fetch a very expensive price. Hawke is just expensive. Hawke is very expensive, y'all. Lest us not forget. Okay. Is this? No! Where are you from?
Go down!
Okay. Good. All right. Stuff done. Loot everything. The history of Kirkwall. Is this also written by Brother Jenna TV 924 Dragon? Good. Good. I was worried. Crate? We're gonna have so much stuff to sell. So nice. Nobody has level ups for a second there. I don't like this is...
That should do it.
What? No?
I knew I should have slit his throat.
Are we gonna fight or are we gonna talk about... Oh my gosh, Hawke! You literally destroyed his life!
Right there.
You're my hero. I got this one. What is this? What ability is this? What? Bro, you talking to me right now? Because I was not. History of the Circle. Okay. Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. So this one might be interesting. It's a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do something. Unfortunately, the Chantry of the Divine Age had some trouble with obvious truths. Although it did not outlaw magic, quite the contrary, as the Chantry relied upon magic to kindle the eternal flame, which burns every brazier in every Chantry. It relegated mages to lighting candles and lamps and perhaps occasional dusting of rafters and eaves. I will give my readers a moment to contemplate how well such a role satisfied the mages of the time. It surprised absolutely no one when the mages of Valroyo, in protest, snuffed out the sacred candle of the cathedral and barricaded themselves inside the choir loft. No one, that is, but divine Ambrosia II, who was outraged and attempted to order an exalted march upon her own cathedral. Even her most devout Templars discouraged that idea. For 21 days, the fires remained unlit while negotiations were conducted, legends tell us, by shouting back and forth from the loft. The mages went cheerily into exile in a remote fortress outside the capital, where they would be kept under the watchful eye of the Templars and a council of their own elder magi. Outside of normal society, outside of the Chantry, the mages would form their own close society, the Circle, separated from the first time in human history. I find this to be a really interesting part of Dragon Age lore, right? Where you think that the Circle exists and that it is something that oppresses mages and all this other stuff, and it does. I personally am not a fan of the Circle at all. I think that there are better alternatives. But here you're learning the mages themselves created the Circle. This was them. They were sick of being under the Chantry's thumb. And so they thought the better option was to go into exile to be with their own kind and to not be persecuted by the average person quite the same way. And so, by separating themselves and having a few Templars to watch them, everything would be fine. But I don't think what they anticipated was that the Chantry would never relinquish control. Like, you get the veiled view of it, right? Like, it would kind of just be like, yeah, no, it's its own thing. But it wasn't. Let's be real. This was never its own thing. The Templars are controlled by the Chantry, right? We know that. So if the Templars are controlled by the Chantry and the Templars babysit the mages in the Circle, then ergo, the Chantry controls the circles. And so it's a really interesting bit of lore that they gave us here. And it's so obscure. Like, it's so easy to miss. It's one of those things that I don't know if most people have really thought about that. But I've always found it interesting that in the beginning, the mages were babysat by the Chantry. And really and truly, I've always believed that the best recourse for like the mages versus Templars, and this is also something that eventually we'll get into with Dragon Age Inquisition, because I think that that's also a really good game to kind of like deep dive into that. But obviously, I personally think that the best course of action is a school for mages, but also to integrate mages back into normal everyday society, because people are afraid of what they don't know. So the average person is afraid of mages because they don't understand mages. They don't interact with mages. They only believe what the Chantry tells them. They only believe what the Templars tell them. But what happens if you remove that and you let people meet mages and talk to them and interact with them normally? And then you also teach mages how to control their magic and the possibilities of possession and stuff like that. And I feel like possibly, the Conclave could have done that. And I get what Anders was trying to say. Like, when you start to really read the lore in DA2, you get what Anders was doing at the end of the game, because he saw the root problem with it all in a lot of different ways. Which I don't know. I find like the way that the story unfolds really interesting, because if you just play DA2 surface level, it makes sense. But then if you start to play DA2, read all the lore, and really start to like think about it, then you're like, oh, holy crud. There's like so much more going on here than I ever imagined, and that's really cool to me. All right, Hawke, let's go up the stairs. Let's get you your family fortune.
That has to be the vault.
It has to be.
Everything we want to know about our family is inside.
Are you ready? So, in theory, I guess this door... Oh, you can actually see... I wonder... Yeah, I think this is the... This might be actually... Hold on. Can we see it? Yeah, so you can see it here, but you can't see it here. But in theory, I think... No. Is that the main room? That might be the entryway. When we unlock this house, I'm super curious to see if we can try to figure out... Like, I almost wonder if this is, like, directly across from Bodan, and stuff like that. Like, that'd be really interesting to figure out, because I think that that's all the first floor. But let's go to the vault and see. Or the chest, I should say.
This is it.
It is.
Grandfather's will. Mother needs to see this as soon as possible.
Let's go.
We'll take it to her right now.
No time to waste.